Capcom. God, at first I thought Capcom was supposed to be something of good. Now look at it. Am I right? Shit happened. Shit hit the fan. Before I say anything, I'd like to introduce a guest. Come here, Senior Kite.
Oh yeah.
This is an old friend of mine. Met him since high school. Middle of your count and anything. Mr. Kite. Check him out.
Hello. My link for my YouTube channel will be in the description.
Well, check out my channel, which I find funnier. No, I brought you here because you have more of a thing on this than I do.
Oh my god, do I have some things to say about Capcom? Do I have some things to say about Capcom? I can't say most of them because there's children in the room.
It's fine.
What haven't I said in front of these two?
I don't know.
I already had some education.
Think about it.
You know what I mean. If you know what I mean.
And that's what I talk about.
Alright.
Capcom has cited SOPA, whatever the fuck that shit is.
SOPA was an online act to make sure that the internet would be censored. They were wrong.
And the thing is, they stated at one point in time that HUD was going that no longer be profitable. I'd like to say, also make a sin for talking about that. That was a contradiction. Oh, sorry. But the thing is, they contradicted themselves with the original Resident Evil, and they made Resident Evil 5 more action than the original Resident Evils used to be hard.
With the original Resident Evils, it was on the original, PlayStation consoles?
Yeah.
So the graphics were limited and the gameplay was kind of choppy. With this, they updated the graphics, they have better gameplay. And I've not played this, so you have, obviously. You're a big fan of Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah.
Are the scares any good?
The original scares and the original Resident Evil games were hilarious and very, very good. Hell, back then, Resident Evil was my first, at least the director's cut used it was. Because, I had director's cut, I never had the original. Like, back then, I was so scared of Resident Evil that I had to turn off the original PlayStation 1 and, not play for like 5 weeks. I'm not even kidding there. The thing is, I had nightmares all the time. There was like, 11 or 12, I played the game using my huge ass bag that told you I had a walkthrough for kill, Valentine.
That proved that Capcom could reach all forms of video gameplay. Back then, horror was kind of a new thing to reach into. Again, with the primitive form of graphics, 3D graphics, it was kind of in the early days of scaring people.
And the thing is, when it comes to the horror genre, it's still profitable.
Oh yeah.
Look at every horror movie up to date.
Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Evil Dead, Phantasm.
The Silent Hill movies.
Resident Evil, that's a TV show.
Hell, look at the original Resident Evil games. That proves that they contradicted their own damn selves. Why do you think Silent Hill was great? Why do you think people love Five Nights at fucking Freddy's?
Five Nights at Freddy's became a thing because people love to be scared playing video games. Although I consider that the series kind of got a little overrated. I said it.
And let's look at Bioshock 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, I played Bioshock for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I was pretty freaked out playing it. It was very atmospheric, and I did kind of feel claustrophobic at times. And the Big Daddies were freaking cool.
Hey, I never got scared of any of the Bioshock games. I never thought they were supposed to be hard. First, because of the damn, but it's more funny than scary. Anyway, let's look at some of the other bullshit that Resident Evil did. Making a reboot of a game that they could have made.
In the early days of Capcom, they had an idea called Devil May Cry,
which was originally supposed to be Resident Evil 4.
Oh yeah.
But eventually got too action-packed,
It got too action-packed, and
Wasn't right. But
and it eventually became its own series, spawning one of the most famous game characters.
One of the most famous franchise and one of the most beloved gaming characters.
I'm not going to say that Dante is a hero nor a villain because really he's kind of like Deadpool. He's an anti-hero.
So
He really just does things for himself and money. Except for when it came to Devil May Cry 2, where I played as Neo half the frickin' time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Neo Low was something like a 4.
But whatever one had him in it that I played for half the frickin' game.
That was Devil May Cry 4.
Oh, yeah, I played that then. Yeah.
Devil May Cry 2 sucked more ass than usual.
When Capcom started to go down the hill, they got eventually famous for what they're known for. Re-releases and reboots of their famous games. Get in camera, this is your show.
And look at one of the weirdest games ever.
DMC Devil May Cry was their attempt at trying to reboot the Devil May Cry series. And even so, doing what Super Smash Bros. Does when they release a new Smash Bros. Game, coinciding with a new game, they put the character in a fighting game. In this case, they put the rebooted Dante in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, DMC Devil May Cry, the reboot was, it was a good game. I'm not gonna lie.
It has its flaws, but then again, what game doesn't have its flaws?
I just hated what they did with Dante.
Cough, Sonic 06, cough.
I'm gonna say, look at the Dante and DMC was more of a teenager than, that comedy elite.
Yeah.
They made Moon basically the devil in DMC. Of Devil May Cry, basically a Kingpin version of Lex Luthor. But more weird.
I would think it'd be if Kingpin and Lex Luthor had a love child.
And let's not forget he had to fight a succubus.
No.
An enemy that was never talked about in the original. Yeah, and for some reason Dante and Virgil, Dante's brother, twin brother at least, were half angel, half demon. Unlike the original, who was half human, half demon.
Which half human, half angels are very popular in RPG games.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what, look, and the thing is, when the Sparta, the father of Dante and Virgil, before the game, the original had to go and separate the human world and the demon world in order to protect his lover, and ultimately his kids. But in reboot, he just bitched out and left.
Oh yeah, it was just terrible. Terrible. It was a terrible representation of a character that was mildly decent.
Yeah, basically the reboot saw basically turned tail, glad and became a bitch. So the original had the sack to basically give the demon a finger for holding his own sack.
In other words, this game, that's basically what a lot of the fans think of it. Don't worry, it's safe.
Don't worry.
I don't think you'd be too, upset if, that broke or anything. I'd get you a new copy.
Okay.
Let's move on to something else. Eventually, Capcom started losing their minds and started to go into the zombie genre, which spawned the famous series, what was it, Dead Rising?
Yeah.
Which had one of the most famous characters, Frank West, who was a photographer. Think of Capcom's version of Peter Parker. And then he eventually became what?
Thing is,
It spawned one of the most famous game sequels, Dead Rising 2.
with a guy named Chuck Green, who literally was a motorcyclist guy, and races and shit, but since he lost his wife to a blaster like him between the zombies,
He became a zombie fighting badass.
who can combo weapons of random weapons.
He's the MacGyver of zombies.
Hey, let's just say lightsaber. He created the fucking lightsaber
Anyways,
and the Wolverine claws.
with that came eventually fans of Dead Rising saying, where's Frank West? Why isn't Frank West even in Dead Rising 2? Well, they created the
non-canon,
unofficial,
what would have happened thing, Dead Rising 2 off the decade.
It stars Frank West in place of Chuck Green.
And Chuck Green replaces Leon Bell, one of the first toothy psychopaths. For those of you who don't know, psychopaths is the term for bosses. Like 90% of them being optional.
So I do say it is pretty good that they did include Chuck Green in this along with Frank West instead of just nixing it and saying it's an unofficial game altogether.
But my main complaint is why wouldn't you just say, if you're gonna make a game, make sure to DLC it.
Oh yeah, do what Nintendo does. With the new Smash Brothers game for the 3DS and Wii U, they released a thing where you could, if you're a Club Nintendo player, if you're a Club Nintendo member, you got the DLC for Mewtwo today. Which, by the way, happy birthday, buddy.
Thanks.
But if you're not, you'll get it at a later date. But you could get the DLC code for Mewtwo, and you can play as Mewtwo, who hasn't been in a Smash Brothers game since Brawl. Along with that, they also started including characters like Lucas from Earthbound 3. Well, Mother 3, technically called Earthbound 2. It's a messed up series, along with the Zelda timeline. And they have a poll where you can list any Nintendo character you want, and they will consider it to be a DLC. Nintendo's doing what Capcom should be doing.
And the thing is, I don't know about the Nintendo, Sega, and Konami characters here, but excluding Dante, the Devil May Cry characters, and Umbrella from Resident Evil, and at least a handful from side characters, most of the characters from Capcom don't have a backstory.
The only characters with backstories are Dante and Mega Man, which, if you're like me, you're a huge fan of Mega Man. And I'm extremely upset with how Capcom has treated Mega Man over the last few years. Can I say it? Can I say it now?
Yeah.
Recently, Capcom released an article saying that they will make a new Mega Man game. I should have been happy, except for the fact that they said it will be released in the next 25 years.
Some of the fans will be dead by then.
Well, not dead. They'll be in their 40s. 40s, 50s. They'll be parents, grandparents.
Some will basically forget about Mega Man.
Yeah. And not only will it be released in the next 25 years, it will only be for mobile devices, following the strict Korean mobile release game Rockman Running, I think it was called, or Mega Man Runner, in which in Japan, Mega Man's called Rockman.
And the thing is,
the guy who is the head of the project said that he's never played a single Mega Man game at all. None. Not even
bullshit. Am I right?
Yeah, you can't be the head of a game that's so legendary as Mega Man and not, at least take time to at least go into the past a little bit. And his saying was, we can't rely on the past to make future games.
You have to sometimes.
You have to. If you're making a game that's part of a series that's survived as long as Mega Man, you have to look into the past to get some new ideas. My motto that I always use, look to the past to move forward with the future. Just a good saying, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. As opposed as completely a